What's up, everybody? Dex here with another episode of Suburban Paranormal. And as you can see today, we have a special guest, Mr. Sean Harrigan from the Iggles Nest. How's it going there, buddy?
Doing all right, man. It's Friday, getting ready to kick off the weekend. Got a couple Leinenkugels here, sipping them down. It's a nice summer beverage.
Fancy. A little more fancier than the PBRs I got tonight.
Hey, it's classic. Can't knock it.
Of course. Guys, as you all know, we are from Cinescape Media. This is Suburban Paranormal, and his show, which will be starting soon with the Eagles coming up, the Iggles Nest, so definitely check that out. Cinescape Media, of course, is the website. So, we're going to start like we normally do there, Sean. We're going to talk a little bit of paranormal news. And it
Let's
seems
do it.
There's a lot of UFO alien talk. So the first thing, I know I sent you these articles earlier. I don't know if you got a chance to look, but as you know, the UFOs, or the military lately has been calling UAPs. I'm not sure if you've seen that one, but an UFO expert is saying that they see alien structures on the moon. And there's actually a picture, and I don't know, like I said, I hope you saw it. I wish I had a way to set this up yet where I can show the pictures and stuff. That's coming soon, guys. But to me, it's interesting. It looks like it could just be kind of reflections, but what is it reflecting? That's I guess the big question here, and that's where he's saying aliens. Did you see these pictures?
Yeah, I got to check. I was looking at some of the articles you sent a little bit before we got started here. Definitely a lot of structure-like structures, if you want to call them, phenomena up there on the moon. Anytime I think of moon structures or moon bases, I automatically think of Austin Powers. You know what I mean? But it's absolutely conceivable that there could be things up there, whether they're from NASA themselves or other nations building things that we don't know about, or actual extraterrestrials that have set up little ancillary bases up there to monitor or do whatever they're doing. Unfortunately, we're never really going to know until actual footage, grand level footage comes out, from somebody standing right next to the thing, either proving or disproving, bunking or debunking whatever it is. So, it's, for people who subscribe to the alien theory that could be, something viable, I'm definitely on board with that.
Yeah, and like you said, when you bring up other countries, we don't know. I know that I believe it was China that sent a rover to the moon, and they put it on the dark side, the moon side we don't ever see. And it's like, did it just poke out of the dark side? Is that what we're looking at? Or like you said, is it other failed missions, or is it alien? It would be interesting to know one way or the other. There's no discernible, flag saying it's China or Russia or others. So, I mean, it's definitely interesting. Like you said, I mean, guys, we're going to put the link on the website and in the description of the video, of course. So check it out. Definitely let us know what you think on social. Let's have a discussion about it. Speaking of aliens and how many, there is an article that came out, and it stated 36 different intelligent life forms within the galaxy. Just the galaxy. There's a whole infinite space, but they're saying 36 different intelligent life forms.
Yeah, I mean, at least 36. I mean, it goes, I was actually reading some of the articles of my wife. It's very lengthy, but I guess it goes off of, the old Drake equation, figuring, number of stars in the galaxy compared to how many, exoplanets each one has, whether it's in that, quote unquote Goldilocks zone, the habitable zone like Earth, where it's not too close to the sun, not too far away, just in that, that Goldilocks zone, that just right spot where, a planet could conceivably, habit life. So, if there's at least one for each one of these, I think the article said, between 100 and 400 billion stars in our galaxy alone, you figure even if there's half of that number, I mean, there's potential for literally billions of different alien civilizations. I think 36 is kind of a low ball on it a little bit there, but I mean, the potential is just astronomical.
Yeah, like you said, it does seem kind of low. It's like you give this big,
sure, yeah.
Like you said, it's not an easy read. It is a lengthy article. So if you're going to read it, be prepared. It is a bit lengthy, but a lot of information. But like you said, how do you get 36, just 36 out of billions of stars? I mean, it does explain a little bit, but it does still seem very low ball of a number.
Yeah, I think Vegas set that betting line.
I would love to know that betting.
Over under 36. That sounds good.
36 is an awesome number. It's even. It's good football line. But it's written by Christopher Canellis and Tom Westby. Again, we're gonna have the link up on the website. I'm curious what you guys think. And using their own, information they put out, do you come up with 36, or are you guys coming up with a different? Like you said, 36. Like Sean said, I agree completely. It sounds a little on the low side to me for all the information put out there, and especially with everything going on. So, again, we'll see. Let's talk about it on social media. But there's a lot going on in the news. We're going to move along, but plenty going on. We're going to post some stuff on the socials, try to get some more interaction from you guys.
I want to know what the closest one is to us. Who's closest? Who's our closest neighbor?
That would be a good question. Grays.
Yeah, like are they good? Are they bad? Do they want to take us over? What's going on? Is this an Independence Day situation here?
Are they looking at us and going, COVID? We'll wait. We're gonna wait.
Yeah, right. I don't want any parts of that right now.
they seem to be preparing to come. I mean, we've had so many, between the military confirming things and
yeah, it's a big one.
It's like a lot of people are starting to even say it. It's like behind the media of COVID going all over the place, they're just tossing all this UFO information now. Tons of it. Oh yeah, this is all real. This is real. We know. And it's like nobody's saying
nobody cares
because everything else is so much more important right now than a possible alien life form. It's just been hanging out, and people have been crazy for years for it.
That's right. Conspiracy theory, right? You're just nuts. Until your government tells you otherwise.
I called my kids nuts the other day, and Lila just turns around. She goes, "We're not nuts because you can't eat us." And I'm just like, "Okay, you got me there. That was a good one." She likes to hit me with the dad jokes lately, which
I'm all about the dad jokes. I get a lot of unhappy stares from the wife and kids when I give these jokes. Actually, my stepson's pretty receptive to them, but the stepdaughter, she's 19. She doesn't think they're all that funny, but I try.
You gotta try at least. I mean, you can't not. You're a dad. You have to try.
Yeah, wait till your girls start getting older. You'll see.
I was like, tonight she goes, before bed, she goes, "Dad, when do you take the cookie to the hospital?" When they're feeling crummy.
I like it.
She was all proud of it too. I was like, yes.
That's a good. You teach her well.
Yeah, we have to. But so our paranormal ghost joke is, what is a entity's favorite form of self-defense?
An entity's favorite form of self-defense. I don't know. You're gonna have to tell me.
Kung Fu fighting.
That's a good one.
Sometimes I laugh a little too hard at my own joke when I'm trying to do it.
Well, if you don't do it, nobody else is gonna, right? That's how I feel.
Exactly. You got to start the laugh. The dad has to start the laugh at the dad joke. But that's our paranormal dad joke for today. So we'll move along. We always like to talk paranormal TV, but with everybody locked up, not locked up, but everybody with COVID, there's not really much. I don't think any new shows browsing. I mentioned on the last podcast, Skinwalker Ranch just completed, and I know me and you have both talked about it. What was your thoughts on that show?
Yeah, this is one that I was pretty interested in, as I've heard a little bit about it in the past before the show had started, and then Ancient Aliens actually did an episode on it as well. yeah, in our conversations, I think we were both in agreement. The first maybe like 2 or 3 episodes, they were really slow, and it was really kind of over
Over-dramatized.
dramatized.
Yes.
The one guy, fucking dragon and egghead guy, but
Yeah, I don't know how
they
many times they needed to show that egghead picture. Like we
I
get it.
think I put that in our chat. Like I took a screenshot every time they took a pic, like showed the the CAT scan X-ray of the guy's head with the egg sticking out of the back of it. I'm like, it's just countless times that they keep showing us and beating us over the head with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, after the first couple episodes, it really found its stride. And what, it was only an 8 episode season, I believe.
Yeah, they only did 8 episodes.
Yeah, so I mean, pilot season, garnered attraction, but I think they really, they hit their stride about midway through, and they found a lot of, really good evidence. I mean, they have, evidence, proof, video proof, photographic proof of, UFOs that they were tracking and killing cows and all sorts of
Yeah.
stuff. So looking forward to season 2. Hopefully it didn't get, shut down or delayed because of COVID, but.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I haven't seen much talk. I know they wanted to do one, but I mean, granted, with this going on, it's probably possible that it's just on hold like a lot of TV shows. Ghost Nation, they couldn't even finish filming season 2. We got, I think it was 6 episodes or 7 episodes before that one ended. You watching any other paranormal TV shows?
Not anything new. I mean, I was big into Ghost Hunters, maybe 10 years ago or so, and then the spin-offs, the International, the Academy. I was a big fan. Like some of the other ones that are on, I forget what the guy's name is. The really goofy guy. I think they're on Travel Channel as well.
Zach Baggins.
But I mean, there's a lot of them out there that are just really schlocky, and I really loved how Ghost Hunters used to do it. And I've kind of fallen off the the TV show bandwagon as far as the paranormal shows go. I mean, documentaries or specials or things like that, I mean, I'm all about. But I mean, the series anymore, I'm just not personally into. Now that doesn't mean that I've unsubscribed from believing in ghosts or anything. I certainly have had my own experiences and things like that, but yeah, I mean, as far as ghost shows, I fell asleep watching reruns of like season 5 of Ghost Hunters the other day on the couch.
I got all the seasons of all the shows up there.
Oh, I know.
You got Dexflix. But yeah, I mean, like you said, and I've talked about this a couple times actually, and you mentioned you've kind of fallen off the bandwagon when it comes to the TV show. Now, is there specific reasons for that? Because like I've talked before, it's like lately we've noticed, and it's been said a lot, is on Ghost Nation lately a lot, especially, is the background music. They'll say, "Oh, listen to the CBP," but all you can hear is the damn background music, and it's annoyed a lot of people recently. So I'm curious as to what is the some of the reasons you haven't really watched much paranormal TV lately.
Honestly, because I was such a big fan of the Ghost Hunter show and their entire team, when they started kind of disbanding and going their separate ways way back, and new cast members coming on or whatever it was. I mean, it just didn't click for me the way that I felt. The core team, Jay and Grant and Steve and Tango and all those guys, Chris Williams, like all those people together, like that was real money. That was the magic for me. And then once the the band kind of broke up, I think that was kind of it for me. International and Academy I watched a little bit, but they weren't they weren't the A team or anything. But after a while, it just kind of fell out of watching that show. I honestly do want to give the Ghost Nation, because what does Jay does that one, right?
It's Jade, Steve, and Tango.
Right. Okay. And then Grant does something else. Is he doing anything at all anymore?
Grant brought back Ghost Hunters on Sci-Fi. Now, from what I remember reading, I think they were originally offered it to Jay. He didn't want to do it because he wanted to do it his own way, and they wanted, I guess, to do something else. So I guess they called Grant. Grant said, okay, he'll do it. So he has him, his wife, and like 6 other people. It's a massive team. And I've heard mixed reviews of how it's returned. I actually personally haven't seen the latest version of those Ghost Hunters. I have watched all the Ghost Nation episodes. Those 3 together, like you said, it's kind of the boys. I think they even joked about it. The boys are back. Those 3 together do very well. And then they have like another girl that hangs out with them and does like the DVRs and stuff. And she's really good too. She's very knowledgeable and level headed with what goes on. But yeah, it's kind of interesting with those shows because it almost reminded me when Ghost Nation went to the 3. It reminded me of Ghost Adventure when they first came out. It was just them 3. And
that's the one I was thinking about, the goofy
That's why
dude.
I said Zach Baggins, but you were still talking,
Okay.
so I wasn't sure if that's the one.
I can't take him seriously.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people have gotten that, and like I kind of get it because it is a little over the top. I know I've reacted that way though sometimes to some of my paranormal experiences, so I kind of believe it. But I do get the sense that like everybody, it's just they say it's overdone and it's overplayed, and I can completely understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me with Ghost Hunters, I was always appreciative, because I am a believer in the paranormal. I was always appreciative of the fact that they did so much debunking. A show like the Ghost Adventures, it always seemed like no matter where they went, what room they were in, this guy was getting attacked, he's getting scratched. I mean, like every time he's just every other word is F-bombs getting bleeped out, and you don't understand what's going on. The camera's shaking, they're all running away. Like it was just, like you said, over the top. And whereas Ghost Hunters, I mean, they were more systematic. They're there to debunk things. They weren't there to prove anything. They were there to, say that there was nothing there. And if they did catch things, then it was more impactful because all right, we're gonna go to this haunted house to see this ghost, and we're gonna catch him no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of people's problem. Is like you said, the way they approached it, Ghost Nation, Ghost Hunters, is they go in, how do we find explanations, whether it's paranormal or whether it's something naturally occurring. They do look for that natural occurring. Ghost Adventures, now originally some of the first original seasons were really good. It was just the 3 of them, just them carrying cameras. They had no sound crews, nobody extra. Now it's, I think, 4 of them. You still have Zach and Aaron. Then they got Billy and the other guy, Jay, I think. And then, but now they have a sound guy and there's an extra. It's like, to me, and it's kind of why I was afraid to even watch the newer Ghost Hunters. Too many people, to me, just is now too much going on, where it's too much possibility for contamination of whatever evidence they're going to catch.
Yeah, I mean, you have a bunch of people going around making a bunch of noise, have all this equipment running. There's a big chance for overlapping and overlay with different things to where you might get false readings and things like that. So yeah, when you're keeping teams, 2 or 3 in different spots like they used to do, like that was more beneficial to the teams.
Yeah, and then like you said, I actually did try and get on Taps Academy. I was not picked, but I swear I still have possibly the recording that they said I have to look for it. It's on like a set from a really old video camera, if it's anywhere. So if I find you guys, I'll show it to you. But I did apply for the Taps Academy, unfortunately.
I'd like to see that. I do want to.
I mean, we can just now talk a little bit of just general paranormal discussion. I know you wanted to talk, like you said, you kind of mentioned it a little bit ago. Oh, I hit my microphone here. You've had personal paranormal experiences.
I have.
Why don't you go ahead and share with us what had happened, what made you think X, Y, or Z, and let us know.
Do you want recent or older?
Well, what was the first thing that actually got you thinking, like, okay, this was not normal?
Well, I guess I kind of got influenced in my teenage years. My buddy's parents actually used to go different places ghost hunting all the time. They would actually travel to different states. They would go like North Carolina, they would go to New Orleans, like all different places, and go on these these big weekend getaway trips that were really cool. And they'd come back and show pictures. And I've seen like a foggy arm like thing like touching his mom's shoulder. And then I actually went with them, me and his parents. We went to Fort Mifflin in Philadelphia, which is a Revolutionary War fort. And we went through all the casemates, the bunkmates, where they slept, and got to tour all the different buildings and learn all the history and everything. And not that we actually caught anything on tape or anything that we were there. It was a really cool experience. But coincidentally, I think the year or two after we had gone there, Ghost Hunters was there, and they had uncovered another section that wasn't open to us when we were there, but they actually got to go in and explore that. So everything that they were showing on that episode, we weren't even allowed to go into yet, because they had actually recently just unearthed it, which was pretty cool. But I would say my first actual experiences happened when I was in college. I think at the time, the house that I was living in was about 100 years old, in Westchester, PA. I would always hear people walking. It was very, like I said, an old house, 3 stories. I was on the second floor. I would hear people walking up and down the steps all the time when nobody was home, walking around in the room above me when nobody was home. Lights would be on when I got home. Nobody's home. Now, obviously, somebody could have left a light on, sure. But then I've come home where all the faucets are running. And the one really big one, it was summer break the one year, and I was still living there because I was working, and all of my roommates had actually graduated and moved out. So one weekend I had some of my buddies down, and it was the same kid who I went with his parents to Fort Mifflin, and he brought a little recorder down, and because I was telling him about all the shit that I would hear all the time. So we sat up there, like, completely empty room, no furniture or anything. We were sitting there with the recorder on the floor, asking it questions. And then, a couple days later, he texts me. He's like, "Yo, I have a recording that I need to send you." So he emails it to me. He's like, "Listen at whatever time it was, and you hear us. We're asking questions, and I guess there was like a nail on the floor. So one of us, if you're here, show us a sign of your presence. Move this nail if you're here." And then, nothing had happened. But on the actual recording, you hear, "If you're here, move this nail." And then you hear this really deep, raspy voice, which came from not anybody in the room. It just goes, "Why?" Like asking why you want me to move the nail or whatever. So right away, as soon as I heard it, I immediately got chills, and it was kind of confirmation of things that I had been hearing and experiencing. And then I guess maybe a year or two after, and this continued the whole time that I was there. Same thing, summer break, I was still living there working, and another roommate was also doing the same. We had different work schedules where she would like waitress at night, and I came home from work, and we would see each other in passing we're both coming and going. So she's leaving for work the one day, and then I go downstairs to the basement and start doing my laundry, and her stuff was in the washer and it was finished. So, I had to do my laundry. So I put her stuff in the dryer for her, dried it, and then did the rest of my laundry, and then actually folded all her clothes, put it in her basket, and I left the basket down there and took my stuff up. Next day, I come home. She's leaving, same thing. And she goes, "Oh, by the way, thanks for throwing all my wet laundry all over the basement floor yesterday."
Oh, wow.
And I just looked at her. I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "I went to get my laundry this morning, and it was thrown all over the place, and it was just all soaking wet." I didn't know what to say at first. I'm like, "Lauren, I put everything in the dryer for you, folded them, and put them in your basket, and left it there." And she didn't really know what to say back. It was wild. As after I had finished school and I was moving out of the house, my landlord and everything, we were squaring up with everything, and she's like, "Oh, well, how did you love the house? I lived there for 4 years, And I told her, "Yeah, it was a great place, yada yada yada." And I'm like, "But I had some strange things happen, to be honest with you." And she just had this look came over her face, like she knew what I was talking about. And she's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I would tell her, and she's like, "Oh, years ago I had to evict one of the kids who lived here. He wasn't paying rent or whatever. And then when I went to clear all his stuff out that he left there, he had pentagrams drawn all over, painted all over the walls, and like all this weird stuff in there." I'm like, "All right, is this dude like conjuring spirits into the house. I mean, like, I had bats in the house. I had a plague of flies in the house. I just had some wild stuff happen, and I really honestly believe after I had moved back home when I was done that something attached itself to me and followed me home, because I would be laying in bed watching TV at my parents' house when I was still living there, and I would feel like somebody pushed me down into the mattress to where, like, I went down into it and like got up and got freaked out. And then even here, that where I live now with my wife, I've experienced things, and we've heard noises. And not just a couple of months ago, our TV in our bedroom, which we barely ever use, big 55-inch TV, just fell over in our room.
Yeah, you sent me that picture, and that was a bit much. I'm like, that's not a small TV.
No.
Now, do you think it's
we
still
had
the
never
same
moved
spirit?
it since it's been put there. It's been there for years. It just fell over and broke. We do know that the woman who used to live here, her name was Rose. She did pass away in the house. The neighbors next door, they had an elderly relative around the same time pass away in their house, and then across the street, same thing, around the same time, somebody died in their house. So the neighbors used to call it, they don't know, nobody lives here anymore, but they called it the triangle. So it's just a number of strange occurrences. I mean, I got touched in this house. I was walking to the front door and reaching for the handle, and something touched my shoulder full on, like somebody just grabbed me. I turned around. I was the only person home at the time, and then I would just hear a noise from one end of the house, and I would go look, and then I would hear it at the opposite end of the house, and then I would look that way, and then it would just keep going back and forth, like distracting and confusing me. And we hear things all the time. It's just wild. So, I mean, for somebody like myself who's had numerous experiences, for me, it's undeniable. But I mean, there are skeptics out there who haven't experienced anything, or thinking differently.
I always say, as a skeptic, and I think somebody else said this, and I've kind of just, like, I guess you could say, stole it. A skeptic is someone who has yet to have their first paranormal experience. Matter of fact, I think it was Jay, and I might have already mentioned this on this show once before. But when I heard that, you felt that, because it's true.
Sure.
Like, I 100% agree with that. Now, you're moving soon, right?
Hopefully. That's the plan.
We need the first Suburban Paranormal web series, which, guys, we're still trying to do. We have finally gone green as of today, so maybe we can start doing more. I think we need an investigation of that house.
Look, it could really be any house that I'm currently living in. If it's just following me around everywhere, who knows?
This is true. I mean, but you had a TV knocked over in that house. We really need to check that house out.
Still haven't gotten it replaced, by the way.
You have what?
Still haven't gotten the TV replaced.
Oh, well, you're buying a house. I think that's a little more important than buying another TV at the moment. But how about does your wife? She believes in that too.
She does, maybe not so much on the the scale that I do, but like I said, she's heard things in the house too, when I wasn't home. So I don't know. She swears, and this was semi recently in the morning. I was before COVID. I had already left for work. But she swears she heard something speak to her in our bedroom. So I don't know. She's there too.
Kind of only had a few little things that she might just not want to believe.
Yeah, right.
I know my wife, she believes, but she's just like, keep me the fuck away from it. She's
understandable.
Like, no, thank you. Yeah, and I mean, like you said, it's understandable. There's some people that it's just like myself, I'll run towards it. Nope, I'm out. So like you said, so when we talk, I mean, even the intro of the show, paranormal covers not just ghosts. It covers aliens. It covers, cryptozoology. We've talked a little ghosts. We've talked a little aliens. How about cryptozoology? Excuse me.
Oh man, I mean, you got to
Cryptozoology.
start with Bigfoot, right? There's,
Of course.
there's numerous species of Bigfoot all around the world. Yarrans, Yetis, Yowies, skunk apes. Everybody's got their own stories, and there's so much about the planet that is undiscovered and unknown. We discover new species of animals all the time. There's obviously numerous specials and series. Finding Bigfoot and things like that, where people are out there squatching. But I mean, if there's anything that like a cryptid that is actually out there, I'm gonna start with Bigfoot. That's the number one. I mean, they got to be out there somewhere, and I'd like to see one someday.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What about the Jersey Devil?
Jersey Devil. I remember the first time I remember hearing about the Jersey Devil. I was under 10, and we were on our way down the shore, and I think we had to pull over for something, and one of my older cousins or something started telling me the story about the Jersey Devil, and it's dark out and just woods and shit everywhere. I'm like, oh god, is this real? And then obviously learning more about it and the history and everything. That's a wild story, and local too, which is really nice little flavor for our area. Who's to say? I mean, is the devil real? Are demons real? Is birthing demon children with hooves and wings and a serpent head real? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, does it happen, and it's really just hidden because they feel human nature can't actually deal with something like that? I think that's how the original conspiracy theory probably started. People saw something, it disappeared, and when inquiring about it, they're like, that never happened. And it's like, wait a second. And it's I think that's where it started, was when we started having agencies that are supposed to investigate things. And instead of just investigating, it's completely just erased, gone, hidden in a basement somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you look at historical records and old newspaper clippings from the 1800s and stuff about the Jersey Devil. I mean, there's countless numbers of sightings and witnesses that have claimed to see it. So when you have these things that a lot of people are seeing, and before the advent of the internet and everything like that, to where you can easily hoax something. I mean, it's either somebody's just flat out lying, or people are actually trying their best to describe something that they actually have seen. So, who's to say whether people at that time actually were seeing anything?
Yeah, and like you said, it's hard to tell because, like you said, the advent of the internet and everybody wants to be an amateur filmmaker. It's almost like the crappiest quick cell phone footage that you see is almost more believable than if somebody was to have a 4K recorded from your cell phone, the alien walking up to him and going, "What's up?" And I've said before on the show, I would love to see that footage. But at the same time, is it going to just be a hoax because of how easy it is to do these days?
They just made that in After Effects.
Yeah, After Effects, exactly. I have After Effects. I've done crazy things like that, and it's just it makes things harder to believe. And I don't know if that's good or bad. You know what I mean? It's tough to kind of figure out, we have all this technology, we can do cool stuff, but then, people like us, we believe in the paranormal, we've had things happen, but you can't put out a serious TV show or a movie, really, because all people are going to see is someone's trying to make money. So there's going to be fake things to get an audience engaged, and that's it. And I like I said, I think it's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, if it's on TV, it's a show, it's a presentation, right? So, I mean, if nobody's going to keep watching something if nothing ever happens, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And, when it comes to major money, like you said, you always have to have something happen. And that's where I think a lot of people start to point and say that this is fake. Because it's not always going to happen, if, like you say, but then how do you always have something happen? Or my favorite thing is every season starts with more evidence, more better evidence, or something along those lines. It's always along that lines. How is it always better than the last time?
Yeah, right. Are the ghosts just coming out and being more, more hilarious and hanging out with people.
Yeah,
Like, all right, we've been hanging out long enough. Like, let's just show ourselves.
I'm gonna be the ghost on that TV show. Like, the ghosts aren't doing that.
No.
Oh man, like I said, it makes it tough, but at the same time, I guess it's what it is. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. All right. Well, is there any other kind of paranormal you wanted to talk about before we go ahead and get out of here?
Nothing off the top of my head. I mean, just the thing about the possible 36 alien civilizations in our Milky Way galaxy out there. But like I said, I want to know more. I want to know, how close the nearest one could be. I want to know just in our own immediate corner of the galaxy, how many planets are out there that could sustain life like an Earth-like planet. There are so many unanswered questions. And going back to the moon structures, I mean, there's stuff on Mars, there's pyramids on Mars, there's the face on Mars, there are different cults that worship the black cube on Saturn. I mean, there's a lot of astrological happenings that really correlate with the way that human civilization have evolved over time and beliefs and things like that. So I mean, there's just so much quote unquote evidence out there throughout history that there are things out there that have probably influenced and had a hand in developing human civilization over time, that it's almost like it's slapping you in the face and people just don't want to accept it. So I mean, the government coming out and posting the footage from the aircraft that are with the one of the UAPs or
they're calling them
UAPs, right? That should be right there. And like you said, with COVID, is a distraction. The perfect time to drop something like that to not freak everybody out because nobody is paying attention, right? So I mean, when government agencies, and Russia does it all the time too, they tell you that they flat out have all these cases. I mean, maybe you just trust the government. You don't want to believe some of the things they say, but maybe you should sometimes too. So I want to see more declassified documents. I want to see more released footage. I want to have more accounts. I want to know more, and I want to get to the bottom of it. My goal in life is to, before I die, I want to know if aliens exist. That's one of the bucket list items there. So let's make it happen.
Well, it's funny, like you said. I mean, real quick before we get out, you mentioned, we talked about this before on the show, the British UK Ministry of Defense is supposed to be publishing their quote-unquote X-Files. I have yet to see it, though. I would love to.
Well, you got Boris Johnson's too busy out there promoting social distancing, so they're not releasing that yet.
Yeah, he got sick for a little bit there.
Yeah.
But, all right. Well, John, thanks. Why don't you let everybody know where we can find you?
All Cinescape Media and at the Iggles Nest on all social media as well. Hit us up, check out some of our shows, subscribe, and interact with us. We love talking to you guys.
Absolutely. As guys, of course, I'm Dex. Check us out, Suburban Paranormal, and all this social medias. John, you got to spell it though. It's the Iggles, Iggles.
Iggglesnest. That's right. If you have the Philadelphia dialect, you'll know what we're talking about here. Drinking our water.
Yeah, that's for all the people just listening on the podcast. If you're watching, you can see it at the bottom of our pictures here. But guys, again, always thanks for tuning in. We have reached over 2,200 downloads, and I just would love to thank everybody for continuing to tune every week. Thank you for sharing on social medias. Wherever else you're sharing it. My fish tank just turned off. It's 10 o'clock.
It's a ghost.
They're all scheduled. Yeah, right. It's a ghost. My ghost controls my aquarium here.
Ghost fish.
But again, guys, thanks for tuning in. Sean, thanks for coming on. You guys have a great one.